most cruise passengers avoid inside cabins at all costs. No windows, no views. Some say it's like sleeping in a shoebox in the middle of the ocean. So why do I keep booking them again and again? After more than 40 cruises and thousands of dollars saved, I've learned a secret most people miss. Interior staterooms are one of the most underrated cruise travel hacks. They're not glamorous, they don't have views, but they've allowed me to travel more, cruise more, and believe it or not, enjoy my vacations more. Today, I'll explain why I always choose an interior stateroom, even when I could pay for something fancier. Plus, I'll reveal benefits almost no one talks about, including how a balcony upgrade went totally wrong for me. Let's get started. Reason number 1, extreme savings. On my last Mediterranean cruise, a balcony cabin cost $2,100. The interior? $1,400. That $700 difference wasn't just a number on paper, it became real experiences. With those savings, I bought 3 premium excursions, an unlimited drink package, and even had money left over for a spa massage. While others watched the port from their balcony, I was swimming in Santorini's hot springs, thanks to the money I saved. But that wasn't even my best deal. On an Alaska cruise, I tracked prices for months using fare alerts. 2 weeks before departure, my interior cabin dropped by $450. One email to my travel agent and boom, instant onboard credit. People think paying more means better vacations. But on cruises, you're often paying for dead space. Do you really need that balcony when you'll spend 80% of your time on deck, at restaurants, or on excursions? The thousands you save on interiors don't disappear, they turn into more cruises. Last year, I took to 7-day trips for what others paid for one with a balcony. The math doesn't lie. If you're thinking, but I want to enjoy my room, try this challenge. Bring a watch next time. Track how many waking hours you really spend inside your cabin. I bet it's less than you think. Now, reason number 2, guilt-free freedom. No one talks about the psychological burden of expensive cabins, but it's real. When you pay $3,000 for a balcony, you suddenly feel obligated to use it. We should stay and enjoy the view. Let's have our coffee here to make the most of it. What started as a luxury becomes an invisible chain tying you to your room. I learned this the hard way on a Caribbean cruise. I got in a suite upgrade and suddenly every decision revolved around justifying that cost. Go to the nightly show or stay on the balcony? Have breakfast at the buffet or order room service? We ended up missing great activities because of that make the most of it mentality. With interior staterooms, that pressure disappears. There's no little voice saying, you should be using your balcony right now. You sleep, shower, store your stuff, and head out to experience the ship to the fullest. That freedom is addictive. It's liberating to know you're not wasting money. If you decide to spend 0 time in your cabin, you can still have breakfast on deck, read in the quiet lounge, or watch sunsets from the bow without guilt. Interiors give you psychological permission to enjoy the ship your way. And that's when you realize the best moments don't happen inside your room. Reason number 3, quality sleep. Here's the best kept secret of interior staterooms: you actually sleep better than in any other cabin type. It's not just opinion, there's science behind it. When I booked my first balcony, I was excited to wake up to ocean views. The reality, brutal. Every morning at 5:45 a.m., sunlight blasted through the curtains like a laser. I tried everything: sleep masks, towels over the windows, nothing worked. My body just refused to stay asleep. I ended every day tired, needing a nap instead of enjoying the ship. Then I went back to an interior cabin. The difference was insane. 8 hours of solid, uninterrupted sleep. No sunlight tricking my brain, no reflections dancing on the walls. Just perfect darkness, like a cave after long days of excursions. That kind of rest is priceless. And it's the same for naps. Your body thinks it's midnight anytime. Want to sleep in after a late night? No sunrise will ruin it. It's total control over your body clock. Compare that to balcony or window cabins, where light and reflections constantly interrupt your rest. Interiors give you what you actually need on a cruise: deep, quality sleep to enjoy every moment. Reason number 4, absolute silence. This is going to sound contradictory, but interior staterooms are some of the quietest places on the entire ship. Yes, those same rooms people describe as claustrophobic are actually oases of peace amidst the chaos of a cruise. I learned this the hard way. On my 5th cruise, I convinced myself to splurge on a panoramic windows to stateroom overlooking the ship's central atrium. It sounded great on paper, views of all the activities, they said. What they didn't tell me, that atrium turned into a disco until 2 a.m. The sound of footsteps on the glass walkway above us, the shrill laughter, the music vibrating through the walls. It was the worst night's sleep I've ever had at sea. On the next cruise, I returned to my humble interior on Deck 8, tucked between other passenger cabins. The difference was abysmal. No windows meant no external noise. No busy corridors in front of my door, just silence. The kind of silence that makes you sleep in late without realizing it. Now I have a system. I always choose interior staterooms on mid-deck surrounded by other cabins above and below. Nothing near elevators, lounges, or service areas. It's like finding that perfect hotel room away from the elevator, but on steroids. The irony is delicious. People pay extra for balconies with views and fresh air, but then can't sleep because of the wind noise, waves hitting the hull, or neighbors chatting at 3 a.m. Meanwhile, I'm in my dark box, sleeping like a baby rocked by absolute silence. And when you have intense itineraries with excursions at 7 a.m., that deep sleep becomes your secret weapon. There's nothing worse than paying for an incredible onshore experience and being too tired to enjoy it. Interiors protect you from that without you even realizing it. Reason number 5, smart design. The first time I booked an interior stateroom, I imagined the worst. Bumping into walls while getting dressed. Suitcases not fitting under the bed. A bathroom where I could barely turn around. The reality completely surprised me. Cruise lines have perfected the art of spatial design to almost millimeter-level precision. My typical interior stateroom on new ships has more strategic storage than my first apartment. Closets extend to the ceiling, beds have space underneath for large suitcases. And I always find hidden nooks, like that small shelf next to the bathroom mirror that's perfect for storing your toothbrush and skincare products. I did an experiment on my last cruise. I timed how long I actually spent living in the stateroom. Between breakfast at 8, activities until 11 p.m., and only using the room to change and sleep, the total was less than 10 hours in 7 days. Is it worth paying double for extra space? I don't even use ship designers know this. That's why modern interiors have comfortable queen-size beds, well-placed outlets, and even small convertible sofas. Everything is designed to maximize every square cm. It's like those viral tiny house apartments. Every element has multiple functions. Next time you see photos of an interior, look at the details. The strategic hooks on the doors, the slanted shelves in the bathroom for your products, the directional lighting that makes the space feel larger. It's not a floating closet, it's a masterpiece of spatial engineering disguised as a simple cabin. And here's the key point, that extra space in more expensive cabins often just means more empty space. Do you really need an additional 5 meters to walk in circles? I prefer that money to take me to another port. Bonus unexpected technology. Prepare for what I'm about to tell you because it sounds like science fiction. Some interior staterooms now have ocean views without having real windows. The first time I stepped into one of these on a Royal Caribbean Quantum class ship, I had to rub my eyes. A curved floor-to-ceiling screen showed in real time what was happening outside the ship. Crashing waves, sunsets, even the ports when we arrived. It's not exactly like a balcony. Of course, you can't feel the sea breeze or smell the ocean. But for someone who suffers a bit from claustrophobia, that illusion of space is a radical change. Norwegian has taken this further with their virtual windows in single cabins, HD screens that simulate natural daylight. Here's my personal experience with this. I booked an interior with a virtual balcony on the Harmony of the Seas, mainly out of curiosity. To my surprise, it ended up being my favorite stateroom to date. Waking up to a simulated sunrise without the real sun burning my retinas at 5 a.m. was a revelation. I could see the weather outside without leaving my bed, which helped plan my day. These innovations are changing the game. It's no longer a binary choice between real views or dark cave. Now there's a middle ground where you pay interior prices but get some psychological benefits of window cabins. Does it completely replace the balcony experience? Obviously not. But for those cruises where you spend little time in the room but want to avoid that feeling of being cooped up, this technology is like cleverly cheating. And the best part is that these cabins are still significantly cheaper than true ocean view cabins. When a balcony is worth it, I'll be fair here. There are situations where an interior stateroom isn't the best option. If you're sailing through the Norwegian fjords or the Alaskan coast, where the landscape changes every minute and is a fundamental part of the experience, then yes, a balcony can be worth every penny. I learned this on an Iceland cruise. I booked an interior as always until I saw a group of passengers spotting whales from their balconies while I had to run to the deck and fight for a spot at the railing. At that specific moment, I understood the value of having your own private piece of the landscape. You also have to consider what type of traveler you are. If you enjoy spending hours reading in private, drinking coffee while looking at the sea, or simply need your own refuge away from the crowds, the upgrade might make sense. I know couples who prefer balconies because it gives them that intimate space to reconnect, but here's the decisive filter. If your itinerary has 5 ports in 7 days where you'll barely be on the ship during the day, are you really going to use that balcony? Calculate the cost per hour of actual use. On my Western Caribbean cruise, the balcony would have cost approximately $75 per hour of effective use. Too much for my budget. The key is to be honest with yourself. If you're someone who lives in the pools, bars, and on excursions, an interior is probably all you need. But if you long for those quiet moments of contemplation with private views, then this might be your exception to the rule. Let me know in the comments, what kind of cabin do you usually book and why? If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss more cruise tips. Thanks for watching and happy sailing!